Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. I guess the big question really is where is Ethereum going? What's really happening with not just Ethereum but with Solana and with MATIC as well? Well, today we're going to take a look and see if we can spot anything that's really going on. When I see what's going on, I mean more specifically what's to look for, where the next step's going to be, because previous videos we talked about Ethereum actually going to touch a very key moment. Well, and it did, and it dropped to this moment, and well, let's find out where it's going to go next. Drop a comment, let me know what you think. Where are they going to go in the comment section below? And while you're down there, go ahead and slide over, pound on the bell, stay tuned, and I'll give you all of the updates on crypto and news and so forth and so on. All right. So, taking a look firstly at Solana. Solana has been something that I've always cared about. I like Solana. It's always been a big pusher. Of course, everything's going down. Two key moments here, two areas to kind of pay attention to is one's around the $17 line and the next one is at 14. But today it's traded around 1566, and why that's important is because, well, it's entering here where we're coming up on some of this resistance. And that resistance is also going to come back from November as well. So like the 12th of November of last year, we have that area to kind of pay attention to as we're coming in. But right now, what we just bounced off of was that $14 mark. It touched down briefly around 14 bucks. It was pretty scary for everybody, especially man, at the beginning of June, it was trading at 22 bucks. So it was a $5 slide. But believe it or not, that's actually pretty heavy. It looks like what we got to was this area. Let me just draw this right here. We got to this area right here, and it looked, let me pull here. All right. When we got into this area, it looks like we kind of touched down. It could have kind of came back up, but it looks like what happened was stop losses really kind of pounded that on, along with the news and everything else that was happening, and it continued. Well, it reached this area too, where it was just that price, and people started buying in and going. You can kind of see it in the volume mark where it kind of slowed down. It's getting lower, lower, lower. And if we're talking about this like huge drop, this huge like sell off that happened, this is your moment, and you can see it right here when it kind of touched that. That was just starting to hit those stop losses and just really just shoved it down even more so. Of course, also we have the issue with Binance going on, and we have well, many things with Binance and Coinbase happening too. So several factors are going. Even Bitcoin, more people are selling Bitcoin now than they're actually buying. So this is the second time or the second week in a row for that. So also playing a big part. But overall, that next mark is going to be around 16 and a half or so that we can kind of see. Here, we're not going to really call it too much, but when we kind of look back, let me just kind of move it here. When we just kind of look back with Solana a little bit further on, there's not much history being down this low, and it kind of like pumped back in, especially in January. It started to move back up from that low, from that big crash from before. But I think it will start to kind of push back in and over, so I think we'll see another big pipe up at 20 bucks in a couple of months, probably or in a month or so. You're going to see some sideways action carry on for quite some time. So it's nothing to look like right now that's going to like pound or shoot up unless something major happens for Solana. But I do believe it will reach back up at least minimally to come back here. It has to. It's just kind of the law of things, especially this market moves. The last market moves we have is this area, so 18, 20 bucks, it definitely will touch back in. 20 bucks, it will too. So 20, 25, it's definitely going to come in. What we really want to see is that 25 coming in. That's a major market move that will reach back to that point at some time. It hasn't and went a little bit past back here, but I believe it will kind of reach back and come up to 21, 22 bucks. Probably, hopefully in the next 2 or 3 months, depending on what happens in the crypto world. All right, let's see. Looking at Ethereum, Ethereum's trading at 1,730 bucks as of right now. I've been kind of paying a close eye on Ethereum more than others because Solana and whatnot kind of pushes that further more. But like I said, it touched down to the 16 mark that we talked about that I told you would be back here at the ending of May as well. And that's what you're seeing is it hit here below. It actually fell below where I really thought it would, but it kind of reached this peak back at 16, almost and a half, and then it's coming back up. Also, the same thing that's doing now. I have well, I've drawn a bit of a new trend line kind of coming in. I was coming off this area on my trend line. I'll just kind of show you guys where I was coming off before because I went ahead and deleted it. Right here. So we were coming off right here, off this trend line, this moving, and it broke past and it went up. That was a moment. This is, like I said, this is where I was telling you that hey, it's going to drop back and touch. Well, it kind of touched right here. It retested that resistance, and it shot back down, fell to the previous support level, and then came back up. Uh, so this is the deal, and this is what I was explaining before too. Is this was a major point of market structure and made a very strong point for it to be resistance and for it to be a support level. And this is what I meant because we have one, two, three, and it's kind of multiple candles landed on that. So that kind of led to this point where it was going to stop. But the idea of it actually returning is kind of pretty much a typical thing with swings in, swings out. You're going to retest and then move through. This was your big warning sign right here, if you can kind of see. I know it's all messy. But all of these moments were a big sign. This candle's right here, right before it dropped, and I think many people seen that too and started selling. So it's not just you and I. As far as MATIC goes, on the daily chart, MATIC's at 60 cents. MATIC's took a beating in the last year or so, but I also fall for it pretty good too. Not paying too much attention to it on the graphs per se, but it is looking like one of those coins to kind of pay attention to now. We have those points of interest to come back into, so around 70 cents here. We have 75 there to pay attention to coming up, and this major one right here, this is going to be the fight to kind of get back into the around 70 and 75. Of course, we have our other battle for around 86 to kind of get back to, actually really strong because 1, 2, 3, 4 areas to kind of get back to. So $1 it would be nice to reach, and it's possible to reach it at least within the next 6-7 months to kind of go through there just by going out, just by reading the market, just by reading the candles from here, and the patterns. Given that everything turns good, so kind of watch it at least for that. And so also, if we're gonna try to draw, I don't like drawing our trend lines too much. I don't like going by them too much. Um, I do, but the problem is when moments like this is just not really enough. I mean, we can go by and do the whole 4 hour mark, for example, and kind of really get a better idea of how we're going to draw a trend line. But as you can see, really kind of microing it down from here. So we can put our mark. Let's see, it should touch twice. So let's say, hey, right here. Right? Let's say if that's our trend line, and then we come back to the day. Just gonna give you a little tip if you don't follow that already. But the problem is you still kind of see how it is on the daily. It's still not really enough data to pay attention to. So yeah, if it breaks through here, we can kind of pay attention to, but the chances of it um, aren't so great, and it's not really a good line to kind of follow. You can really kind of cause some confusion. So especially if you're going by the dailies. Now, if you're looking at the 4 hour mark and you're really trading, like really paying hard attention, you can like, okay, yeah, well, I see here, but it's not something I enjoy. Let's take a look at the market as a whole. For Bitcoin, 0.2%, Ethereum's 0.4%. We have Binance down by 1.6%. We have Sol by 0.4%. Not too much going on, especially, which is a good thing. Right now, we need to see it going back up. The biggest hitters right now, we have AVAX 1.4, ADA 2.4, and we have Atom at 2.8. Those are kind of the ones that's kind of hitting it pretty hard going down. If we look weekly, Bitcoin is up by 2%. Ethereum only fell by 0.8, which is a big plus. Binance came back up by 4.7, Sol 1.9, so not too heavily bad. But we just need to pay attention to those two. Even OKB went up by 5.1%, which is pretty good. So we'll take a look and see how these are reacting as we go. Guys, that's all I have for you today. Subscribe, drop a comment. I will see you next time. This is what to pay attention to. Definitely be following Solana as it could jump up. And hopefully in the near future, and MATIC as well, kind of giving you a point that they hit this bottom and they can kind of start working their way up. If you're a day trader, this will help you out. Until then, see you guys next time.